Hi crafters, Karen here, and welcome to another video where I share card creations using the Color Cubes by Sarah Renee Clark. Stick around to see what I created using these awesome color cubes. Now, if you're new to my channel or new to Color Cubes, I have my Google Assistant pick a number from 1 to 500. Whatever the number is chosen is the card I use to pick my color palette. Today it is card number 417, and I thought I would go ahead and use cardstock to create my card. In conjunction, I will be using this sketch to help me create my card. The 5 pieces of cardstock that I chose were from these paper pads from scrapbook.com. So to match the colors from the palette, I went with warms, sunshine, roses, and Christmas. So for my cream and marigold colors, I went with the warms paper pad, and that's these 2 colors right here. For the gold color, I am using the cardstock from the sunshine paper pad, and that is this piece right here. For the roses paper pad, I brought in this really pretty paper. Actually, that's for the flame, my apologies, and that's this color right here. And then for the crimson color, I am using the cardstock from my Christmas paper pad. Now, the supplies that I'll be using today to help create this card, I will be using my rhubarb stalk memento die ink to stamp my images, and that's going to be part of that crimson color. The stamps I'm using today is this butterfly stamp that I got from Virtual Stamp Joy a couple years ago. And I also have this Tailored Expressions Hello Sentiment stamp that I got from a very dear friend of mine as a gift, and that butterfly is also Tailored Expressions. The flower stamps here, I have had these in my stash for what seems like forever, and I honestly have no idea where they came from. These leaves are a stamp set by Recollections from Michaels, and I will also be using that. And then I will be using the glitter pen from scrapbook.com. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Off screen, I did cut the pieces down to the sizes that I needed that you saw in the sketch. I will be bringing that sketch back in so you can see it while I create this card. Now that crimson piece of cardstock is going to be my mat, so I'm just going to set that to the side. And now what I'm going to do with these small pieces of cardstock is I'm going to bring in my stamp platform, and I'm going to now start stamping my images on here. So I start with the smallest of the pieces, and I have 2 of the same color, which is that cream. I didn't want to use the crimson cardstock because I thought it was too dark for the stamping, since I really wanted to use that rhubarb stalk ink. So I placed those stamps onto the cardstock, and I'm using my platform because it seems like when I use dye inks to stamp with, I don't always get a first good impression. So the stamping platform helps me by, just going back, and like I did here, I had to restamp that one flower. So it does give me that opportunity to go back and get a second attempt to get a better impression. So now I bring in the gold, and I'm going to use the leaves for this piece of cardstock. And I'm going to stamp these on, and again, using that same rhubarb. I really like how the rhubarb pops on these colors. I would not have ever thought of putting these colors together, and this is the reason why I love these color cubes so much. Now that I'm going to be using the Tailored Expressions stamps, I had to stamp these separate because her stamps are a little bit thicker, and so I couldn't stamp everything at one time. So for my hello sentiment, I'm going to check to make sure that that is straight. And what I'm going to do is bring in a piece of acetate, and I'm going to lay it on top of the marigold cardstock. And I'm going to do like a test stamping just to make sure that that sentiment is straight. So I stamp it, I see that it's fine, so I leave the stamp as is. I just wipe off the ink from the acetate, and then I re-ink the stamps, and I go ahead and stamp them on. Now I really like how the butterfly stamps nicely on that flame cardstock. I just like that rhubarb stalk with that color. I just think it looks amazing. So again, I didn't get a really great impression the first time on the sentiment, so I just go back and I re-ink it and stamp it again. So I will remove these pieces and set them to the side, and I will remove the stamping platform, and we're going to go ahead and start creating the card. So I bring in my card front, and here is the sketch again. So I'll keep this up on screen so that you can see it there and how I'm putting these pieces together. So when I'm working with smaller pieces like this, I usually bring in my wet adhesive, and I love this Barely Arts glue. I will use my ATG gun for the hello sentiment, and then also for the card front to put on my card base. So right here I am lining everything up where I need it to be, making sure that I have enough space in between the stamps, and I make sure it's set, and then I will go ahead and I will start to adhere the pieces. So again, this longer strip, I will use my ATG tape, and I get that on there, and I, realign it, make sure that it's all set and straight. And then I just go through, and now I'm going to use my Barely Arts glue to adhere the rest of those pieces. Again, I think my favorite stamp out of all of these is that butterfly. I just love how it pops on that cardstock right there. It's just a great color combination. So finishing up these last two pieces, getting them on there, making sure that they're straight. So I get this last piece on, and I look back at that tulip and I think it doesn't look straight to me. So I go back and I make an attempt to remove it, and it's tearing. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to leave it. This is a handmade card, not Hallmark. So it's okay. It will work. So now I'm going to take my card front and I'm going to adhere the ATG onto this, and then bring it to my card base and adhere that on. I really like how that crimson cardstock really helps pick up those colors. So I'm really glad I used it as a layering mat for my smaller pieces. Here I'm bringing in my scrapbook.com glitter pen, and I wanted to add some highlights to the images. So all I'm doing is I'm, just basically tracing the letters in the word hello and just covering it all up. Now, unfortunately, you can't see it too well on camera, but I promise you, in person, it absolutely looks amazing. So because I'm left-handed, I turn the paper upside down so I can get that O, because I don't want to smudge anything. I don't want it to smear. And then I go ahead and I just kind of do the same thing with the rest of the images. So I don't do a whole lot. I don't want to overpower it. So I just touch up a couple of little areas on each of the stamps. So for those leaves, I'm just picking two sets of leaves, and I will, color those in with that pen. And then I forget to move to the butterfly. So after I'm done with the leaves, I think I'm done. So I take a look at it, and I'm looking at it and it looks great. I really love how it looks. And then I realize, oh, I didn't do the butterfly. So I go back to my pen And I just go in and I will put that over the body of the butterfly. So I get his head and then just the rest of that, the middle portion there where the wings sit. And then again, I know it's hard to see on camera, but as I mentioned before, the glitter on there, it really does help it pop a little bit and just adds a little bit more to the card. So this wraps up another video, and I hope that you have enjoyed it, and feel free to click on that notification bell and subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you again real soon.